my name is Julia Cordova. I am 18, soon to be 19 years old. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make alfajores. Alfajores are a cookie that is found in Latin America, and what you'll need today is flour, powdered sugar, which you can make doing 1 part cornstarch and 3/4 parts of sugar, blending it for a minute, 1 egg yolk, salt, vanilla extract, 2 sticks of butter, and most importantly, the caramel, dulce de leche. You'll also need cornstarch. The materials that you'll need are 2 bowls, sifter, measuring spoons, and measuring cups. So the exact measurements of today's recipe calls for 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of cornstarch that is sifted, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar sifted, 4 teaspoons of salt, 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks of butter at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and then 1 large egg yolk. And then lastly, as I mentioned, the caramel. We will begin by starting to assemble our dry ingredients. I put it in the smallest bowl, so the wet ingredients will go in the biggest one. And I usually like to sift all the dry ingredients. That's just a personal preference, but you would just need to sift the cornstarch and the powdered sugar. You don't need to sift the flour. Alrighty, so you would need your 1 3/4 cup of flour, next you will need your 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, half cup of cornstarch, and then lastly your 4th teaspoon. After you have all your dry ingredients all in here, I just sift it. It is important to mix all your ingredients once they're all sifted, so they're all evenly incorporated. Next, we'll do the wet ingredients. Alrighty, so when assembling the wet ingredients, you will need your 1 egg yolk, your 2 sticks of butter, and then your vanilla extract. You will also be needing a mixer, or you could use a stand mixer. This cannot be done by hand, sadly. For this part, you'll be adding all your butter. I cut them up so it's easier to mix. Then next you'll be adding your 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I already have 1 in here. You won't be adding the egg yolk right here because you'll need to mix this first until it's all incorporated. After mixing for about a minute, you would want it to be this kind of consistency where it kind of all is smoothly incorporated. Next we'll add the egg yolk. And then you would want to mix it all together. This is the kind of consistency that you want. And next we'll be adding our dry ingredients. When adding your dry ingredients, you don't want to add it all at once. I usually do it in 3 or 4 parts. I add the first part in, mix it till it's all incorporated, then the second, third, and fourth. So don't dump all of this in at once. This is the last of my flour, and make sure you would scrape all of the dough that's on the outside. And then mix this all together. As you see, it kind of gets all clumpy, but we'll form this all into a ball. If you want to put it again through the mixer, you can to have it incorporate a little bit better, but I just like to do this. With your dough, you are going to try to make it at least 2 inches round, and you would then wrap it in saran wrap, but for a more eco-friendly alternative, I like to use my reusable bags. Then you are going to leave it in the fridge for at least an hour. With your dough all wrapped up, you're going to make sure it's all sealed and everything, and put it in the fridge for about 1 hour. Then we'll get started into baking it and rolling it out. Alrighty, so once you've taken out your dough after a couple hours, minimum 1 hour in the fridge, you'll see that it kind of firmed up. So we'll take it out and we're going to start rolling it out. You're going to be needing a rolling pin and some flour nearby. You would want to set your oven to 350 and prepare your baking sheets. You could either use a reusable baking mat or a parchment paper so it won't stick. To roll out the dough, you would first need to sprinkle some flour and also make sure you flour your rolling pins so nothing sticks. And then take out your dough and start rolling it out till it's about 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch thick. I like to break apart the dough, so if I were to roll it out, it's a lot more smoother, and if I were to keep it in that block that it was, it would form more cracks. But if you break it down and you form it back into a ball again, it would roll out much smoother. Just make sure you have flour underneath you. So after you've kneaded it a couple times, make it into this shape, you're ready to roll it out. And be conscious of how much flour you use. Once you have your dough rolled out, you're gonna next want to have something to cut with. I don't have a cookie cutter, but you could use a glass that is around the size that you would want the cookie. For visual purposes, here's how thick you would want the dough. I like to make a bed of flour here. Take the cookie cutter, swirl it around, and then press so it doesn't stick. And then repeat that till you fill out your dough. So once you have all your cookies cut out, you could then just start peeling out the surrounding area and gently pick them up and place them on your baking sheet. They don't need that much room in between one another since they don't grow that much. And then you would either want to put them in right away after you filled up your sheet, or if you want to fill up more sheets and put it all at once, I suggest putting them in the fridge. After you've finished cutting out all your cookies and putting them on the tray like so, I would suggest repeating the first step by just kneading this back into a ball and cutting out more cookies and keep repeating this until you have no more dough left. When you have your full sheet of cookies, just score each of them with a fork. And do this for every cookie. Then you would want to place them in your already preheated oven for 10 to 12 minutes until they're golden underneath. After you rolled out all your dough and come up with the last bit, you could just smush it into a cookie and bake it. After your cookies all have baked and they look like this, they should have a little bit of gold on the bottom. Next, you would just set them aside for it to cool, and then we'll begin assembly. This next part is assembly. So what you would want to do is open up your dulce de leche, fill up your piping bag, and most importantly, have your powdered sugar and a sifter. So you take one of your cookies after they've cooled down for maybe 15-20 minutes. Take your piping bag. This next part, you would just want to take your piping bag and pump up the icing. The caramel, I mean. Here you go. Put another one on top. So after you assembled all your cookies, making sure to put one on top and one on the bottom, you then take your powdered sugar and sprinkle it on top. And here you have your finished product, the alfajores. I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.